It's about getting knocked down and getting up again. It's about knowing that you're stupid and knowing that you're arrogant and embracing it as a strength. I mean, you don't leave a company to build a freaking wheel in your kitchen. I mean, I'm a grown-up. This is not what grown-ups do. People are very weird. People are crazy weird. You don't know. You don't know how people will act. You don't know what people will do.
This is Katya Margolin here at Venture Cafe Studio. I'm here with Michael Burtov, serial entrepreneur and founder and CEO of GeoOrbital. Thanks for joining us here, Michael.
Thank you, Katya. It's a pleasure to be here.
So tell us about GeoOrbital and how that's going.
Thanks. So it's going good. GeoOrbital is a powered bike wheel. It's a very different type of project than what I normally do. I've been working in financial services and software companies, so this is a new type of venture for me. It's going really well. I mean, we were on the Discovery Channel recently. We're getting a lot of press buzz. People have seen a lot of wheels in their life, but they've never seen one like this, so we're definitely getting some good attention.
This is not your first endeavor in starting a company, is that right?
Yeah, I had a few before.
Okay, and are there any experiences that have been particularly helpful or informative for working on GeoOrbital?
I can't identify one thing. Doing startups repeatedly, you develop a very unique skill set. I think it's a mindset, it's an approach.
Tell us more about what the skill set is.
It's about getting knocked down and getting up again. It's about knowing that you're stupid and knowing that you're arrogant and embracing it as a strength. Think about this. As an entrepreneur, you're going out there and you're competing with somebody smarter, better financed, better at everything that you want. And you're going out there and saying, I'm going to do this thing better than you have. I'm going to go compete with IBM, with SAP. I'm going to go compete with Ford. You have to be stupid and arrogant to do that. And 1 out of 1,000 entrepreneurs, 1 out of 1,000,000 succeeds at it. But they all have that trait. We're all arrogant and stupid, but we embrace it as a strength.
So what compelled you to leave the stability of a consistent paycheck and be stupid and arrogant and start this company?
I think you answered it. So stupid arrogance. Last time I left my job was a few years ago. I started a company, 2 companies. I started another company, and I started this company. So at the time, I didn't want to do it anymore. I wasn't happy. I liked the money. Money is really good. As an entrepreneur, you don't really make money. You do find a level of fulfillment. You have to find the thing that you're good at, the thing that you're happy doing. And if making stuff out of not stuff is the thing that you find happiness in, then that's a level of fulfillment. So the money isn't there. And when people say job, they usually equate that with money. Entrepreneurship is not a job. It's a life. There's no money in it. It's an entire lifestyle. The things I like is creating something out of nothing. And that's what you do. Every day is a new day. Every experience is a new experience. Every challenge is a new challenge. Every person is a new person.
Let's talk about that a little bit. Like you mentioned, entrepreneurs, when they're getting started, there's not really much money in it in most cases. How have you been sustaining the company yourself? Is there any advice for that, or just how have you been going about it?
Well, you gotta have money. I mean, the reality of it is ideas are a dime a dozen. You need to have money to live on. You need to have savings or income somewhere. You need to have the ability to really sustain yourself for at least a year, and that's in a really good case scenario. It depends on what kind of company you have. If you have a startup, we're sitting right now in the center of innovation, arguably the world's center of innovation. Companies around here are very innovative. And from my definition, that would mean that they're entering an untested market. Nobody really knows if their solution is a valid solution for a problem. Nobody even knows if the problem exists. To be a startup in that sense, there's really no guarantee you'll ever get paid, because there's no guarantee that you fit the market or that you have a solution to a real problem, or that your solution is the best. If you start a small business like a pizza shop, or a hot dog cart. You can make money. You know that there's a problem, and you know that the solution is pizza. So you can sell it. That's one of the core differences, I think, between what we do here at the CIC and the Venture Cafe and what a lot of the people do outside. Entrepreneurship means a lot of different things. The brand of entrepreneurship here is definitely not going to pay your bills. It does, one out of a million times, but most likely it doesn't. People do it because they think that they're arrogant, and they're stupid, and they're bullheaded, and they're going to solve this problem that they identified in their special unique way. And most of the time that doesn't work. So do it because you love it. Don't do it because you have to keep the money.
So how did you get the idea for GeoOrbital?
So I was watching Tron, and they have these wheels on their motorcycles or light cycles that don't have a center, hubless wheels. And I was thinking, that's a waste of space. We should put something. That's what we did. We built a hubless wheel with a hub. Another name for a hubless wheel is an orbital wheel, and we added a center. We call that center Geo. We call it the GeoOrbital wheel.
And what's the reason for filling the space?
You can put all sorts of stuff in there. Motor, electronics, batteries, suspension components if you want. It's really limitless. It's space inside the wheel that is effectively wasted now in traditional wheel design. It was effectively wasted in an orbital wheel design as well. So we were making it useful, making a very compact powertrain that's inside of the wheel itself.
So you're watching this movie, you get this idea.
Mm-hmm.
Then how do you actually pursue this idea?
So at the time I was running another startup in the human resources space for a little over 3 years. I was in Techstars, and I was thinking, and I've been thinking about this idea for a while. I saw the movie a while back, but I was thinking this is the time for me to get it done. So I left my company and started building the wheel. It was actually a really stupid move. I mean, you don't leave a company to build a freaking wheel in your kitchen. I mean, I'm a grown-up. This is not what grown-ups do. So I left my company, and with no engineering background or expertise, I started building this wheel in my kitchen. It took me a few months. But I did it. Started showing it around. It was very inefficient, but it proved the point. People had great reactions to it, and then decided, I'm going to build a team of engineers, and people can really help me bring it to market. But I'm a business guy. I mean, I'm not an engineer. I don't really have the skill set to make a practical, consumer-oriented product. I had enough to make a prototype, as crappy as it was. I made one. But I don't have the skills to actually make it a product. I do have the business skills. So built a team, and that's where we are now. We have a whole bunch of people working on it, one way or another, and we're going to bring it to market.
So how did you go about finding the right people for your team?
It's actually a great story. The core person, our CTO now, I met him at the Venture Cafe. So I volunteer, for full disclosure, I also volunteer for the Venture Cafe. Being part of the Venture Cafe Foundation, you meet a lot of really great people, and you're plugged into an awesome network. And I met the CTO through the Venture Cafe. He happened to show up to talk about things with cool people, and somebody introduced us. Somebody I knew, who knew I was looking for somebody technical. Brilliant guy, Dakota. Did a lot of the designs, and he's completely relying on him. And he's really the one who made it the practical consumer product that it is now. So it's the Venture Cafe. The Venture Cafe led to the biggest connections I've made.
So that's how you kind of got in touch with one of your team members. How did you know that this would be a good, productive relationship, and how did you go about finding the rest of your team?
So we got in touch with the Venture Cafe. That's how we met. After that, we talked for a little while. And it's a big decision because, as a startup, at least I as a startup couldn't afford to pay anyone. So it's not like a job with a paycheck or stability. So it's a lot of relationship building. All business is relationships, especially this type of thing. So we got to know each other, and we decided to work together on it. Later on, the rest of the team came through networks primarily. Right now, we have about 20 people helping out in one capacity or another. No money anywhere. And I think that's a great sign.
Where are you at now exactly? When did you get started with GeoOrbital, and what are some of the milestones you've had since then?
So right now we're still in the prototyping phase. We're building pre-production models of the wheel. It's a different type of wheel, so there's a little bit of development involved, but we're moving very fast. So we're developing a hardware product somewhat using a software methodology. And we're pretty agile. We iterate very quickly, as quickly as we can with a hardware product. It's an intrinsically different thing. We are going to start retail sales relatively soon. I don't know exactly when, but soon. Right now, we're just building up our supply chain, finishing up the product, tightening everything up. So we're almost there to the point of selling it. The company's been around for a little over a year. This month, year and 2 months. I've been doing it on my own for the first 7 months, and then as a team, we've been kind of rallied around it for the last 6.
And you've been getting some good press.
We're getting some, yeah.
How did that come about with your recent feature on Discovery Channel?
We actually end up turning down a bunch of press offers now, just because we don't, we kind of want to coordinate things a little better. Discovery found us. They saw some social media mentions of us. We had a feature in the Boston Globe before as well with our first generation prototype. They had read that. And they're like, wow, this looks really futuristic. We chatted for a little while, and they sent the camera crew down here, and had a very, very filled day of shooting. But no, they found it, and they did a great job.
Mm-hmm. So, what has been most rewarding so far?
I think the most rewarding part really hasn't come yet. I think everybody who sets out, myself included, they want to change something, something that's established. They want to disrupt something that's common, and that doesn't happen until later. I think the path is rewarding, but I think the reward comes when you've actually accomplished something. You've made a dent in the fabric. So I think the most rewarding part is what you're still waiting for, to be honest. And I think that's what we're in it for, is for that change that we want to make. Right now, I like doing what I do. I like the stress and the instability and the risk associated with it. But that's also the same thing I don't like. So I can't simply call it rewarding, because the things I love are also the things I hate about my job.
So what's the weirdest thing that's happened in your experience?
People. People are very weird. People are crazy weird. All business is it's all people. It's all about people. It's all about relationships. You don't know. You don't know how people will act. You don't know what people will do. All the weirdest things that have ever happened have happened in relationships with people, business relationships.
Any example?
Let me think about it. There's a lot.
No, you have to give an example.
I got it. Well, on the investment side, I've gotten investments in as little as a day of knowing somebody, of meeting someone, and it's taken me years. That's weird. I have closed contracts without any diligence, without anybody checking anything, for massive amounts of money overnight, because we had a nice dinner, or you just met somebody and you built a relationship that you thought was strong, and then it's taken forever. In general, I think people are weird, just in general. People are weird. And I'm surprised that anything gets done with how weird people are.
What's the coolest thing that has happened?
Building a wheel. I mean, out of all the stuff I've been involved with, seeing this wheel that we make now, seeing it work and riding on it, that's the coolest. It's a new type of wheel. It is literally a reinvention of the wheel. And that was an amazing thing. I mean, building one in my kitchen, that was cool. But actually riding on one that you can make commercial, that was a magical thing. That's probably the coolest thing.
Do you have any advice that you would give to someone who's thinking of becoming an entrepreneur?
Yeah, don't do it.
Why not?
Most entrepreneurs fail. Statistically, the odds are definitely not in your favor. You're going to fail, you're going to lose all your money, you're going to be very miserable.
And yet, here you are.
Well, I'm stupid and arrogant.
Alright, so will all the stupid and arrogant mofos please stand up?
That's pretty much it. If you are normal, if you are a reasonable person, you are not an entrepreneur. If somebody called me reasonable, I would take great offense to that.
Don't think you have to worry about that, Michael. Alright, well I think that wraps it up. Thanks, Michael.